I hope none of you had to fight the kind of traffic I had to fight. It took me an hour and a half to get here. It took me a half hour just to get from the tour of Walmart. I should have left a half hour earlier. I want to thank you also for supporting these particular events. This series is something that we do for conservative authors who have a very hard lot, even when they're successful. It is very difficult for a conservative to get a book published, period. Book writing is an arduous, lonely, and ultimately, in a way, thankless task. Somebody once said that Marx got all his theory of exploitation from being a writer. Then when you get your book published, as for example, Jonah Goldberg has just written this wonderful book on liberal fascism, all the reviewers and all the editors who assign the reviews are going to be liberals. And they're going to be very smart liberals, if they're at the New York Times, for example. So they're not going to just say, how dare you compare liberals to fascists? They're going to do it in a subtle way that will make him look like, he just didn't do his homework. Whereas I can tell you as a fellow author, this book took an enormous amount of work to produce. I can especially appreciate this particular book because as somebody who's just the owner, it was a city of Berlin, and I forget who we took it from, who said that there are hedgehogs and foxes in the world of intellect. The fox knows many things. His example was Tolstoy. And the hedgehog knows one thing, was Dostoevsky. And not to put myself in that company, but just because everybody divides this way, I'm a hedgehog. And what I think I know is the left. So it occurred to me a long time ago that fascism was a leftist phenomenon, certainly not a conservative one, radical. And also to note that the affinity of certainly post-60s leftists with fascists. I mean, I actually wrote a line that new leftists owe, or today's leftists, contemporary leftists, owe more to Mussolini than to Marx. Mussolini, as you will discover in reading Jonah's book, was a follower of Lenin. And of course, the difference between, such as it is or was, between fascism and communism is that communism is international socialism, and fascism is national socialism. But what do you think identity politics is? Identity politics is the politics, the socialism of the folk, although the European fascists located just in an ethnic group, whereas the identity fascists located in a gender orientation. They're taken into truly absurd extremes, but the mentality is the same, and of course the tactics are the same as anybody who was watched and cultured and Celtic in a college event would know. However, as I say, I'm in a position to appreciate this book, because if I had written a book on, first of all, my book would have been called Left-Wing Fascism, and second of all, it would have been a pretty gloomy, and there I would have been attacked as having written another shrill Horowitz diatribe rant. Whereas Jonah has done really a prodigious amount of research, original research. This book is doing very well for two reasons. These are two things that I would like. The first is he did this research that showed that liberals actually, and progressive liberals, now progressives, just as synonym communists, but used to be liberals, were admirers of fascism. And he's got all these wonderful anecdotes and quotes and show that. And also, Jonah Goldberg is a very witty writer, as you can see from the cover of the book. And it makes it just that much more difficult to attack him. Well, if you watch these idiots, I really try strenuously to avoid the Bill Maher show, but if you watch them in action, they didn't even need investing. To anyone, even a guy with a smiley face. Believe it or not, we once did an event at Paramount, and Bill Maher was a comic. This was 20 years ago, and he was actually...
It was funny.
It was quite funny. He was attacking Arianna Huffington and Hillary. Those were the old days. But it was true. It was really nuts. Lots of comics are. Anyway, it is my great pleasure to bring to our left coast a force, an intellectual force, and a young intellectual force. I really like that. I'm one company. Jonah Goldberg.